Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing so that you do not miss future videos. Like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, your questions, requests, anything that you have. I usually enjoy going down and reading your comments, your thoughts, your opinions on things in the comment section. So if you have something that you want to say, leave it in the comment section below. Like this video just to show me that yeah, I should keep on doing these things. It's a new year. It's a new year. You probably have heard less and less of my voice on the channel. I'm still involved. I'm still involved. It's just that most of the time I am trying to develop my other side of business. Um, I always tell people that I've got other things to do and stuff like that. Oh, okay. So anyway, uh, basically, aside from trading, I also do web development, web design, graphic design. I also do a lot of other things, property, and so that's why if you've watched my previous videos, you realize that I mostly trade on higher time frames. I usually trade on higher time frames. You can see with this indicator that I use, yeah, it's not exactly an indicator, it's just a tool so that I can quickly go to my pairs. You can see I mostly dwell on from the 1 hour to the monthly. That's my range. I don't go down to 30 minute, 1 minute, and stuff like that. Uh, I usually do that only to show people how to use Forex robots or how to use certain things. But personally, I used to do that. Now I do not have time to be sitting in my charts and watch the charts for 30, for basically the whole day, just watching the ticks. No, I cannot do that. So basically, I trade mostly H4, the daily, and then my analysis is basically monthly and weekly. Then maybe for precise entries, I go to the 1 hour. So that's basically how I've been trading lately. You might be wondering, oh, he says he doesn't use indicators. What's this? Well, take it as you feel or as you think. For me, this is not an indicator. Well, it's an trend line plotter or something like that. Well, it's for you, maybe it's an indicator. For me, it's not an indicator. It's just a tool. It's just a tool. Like I told you, I am a visual person. I think I mentioned this in other previous videos. I am a visual person. I quickly respond to visual cues. So sometimes I just want to look at a chart and see this might be what's going on. So let me quickly do this. That's why probably involved in marketing agencies and stuff like that. I'm a creative person, a visual person. So for me, these are not indicators. For me, this is a tools. So you can see my chart. Basically, I've got one, two, second two, and the third tool I use to test a lot of indicators. I've tested most of them that come with your MetaTrader, and I've downloaded hundreds and hundreds and thousands of other custom indicators that you can find on the internet. Well, I was looking for the holy grail, like everyone who's trading, but then you soon realize that you will not exactly find anything out there. Probably get rid of all those indicators. Probably simplify. I'm not saying the indicators don't work. I'm not saying the indicators will give you money. People have got different experiences with indicators and other tools out there. Some people make money with them, some people don't make money with them. So it's up to you. Every trader, you have to come to a point where you decide what works for you, what does not work for you. So don't look to the next person to see, oh, this person is making money with Fibonacci. Trust me, I tried trading with Fibonacci. I tried. I never made a cent. I don't know whether I could not understand it or whether there are some other secrets concerning Fibonacci that I did not know. I just don't know. But I never made a lot of money with Fibonacci. But I always see people making lots of money with Fibonacci. So yeah. So every person must just do what works for them. Okay. So this is the strategy that I use mostly nowadays. I usually also have my key levels in there, just so another extra tool just to plot my key levels in there. But most of the time is just plain like this. And you might wonder, then how do I trade? So basically, this is USD ZAR. This is USD ZAR, US dollar versus South African. Uh, it's actually Sunday, so the market is closed, and well, we'll see how the market plays out. So I basically start my analysis on the monthly. On the monthly, it's good to have a bigger picture of what might be happening. So I basically start my analysis on the monthly and try to get a picture of where we are. For example, if I mark my zone there, if I mark my zone maybe like so, and these signs of marking zones, sometimes people try to make it too complicated. It's not. It's not complicated signs. Basically, what I try to do is to mark the wicks and the bodies. Just try to make sure I have a level that has got many touches, whether by the wicks or the candle bodies. Uh, you find that most people have a way of doing this that might not be exactly precise to the point, like military precision. No, you find that what you just need is an idea of this might be where a zone where the traders or the orders or whatever you call it, the sellers, the buyers are playing in. So that's what you basically just want to mark. So I'm giving you insights into how I do this. How I do this. Uh, Again, you can find resources online on how to mark these zones. So I'm not going to really try to bother you with how to do it and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to do is trying to make sure that I have, the market moves in pushes and retracements, pushes. It's kind of a zigzag pattern. So you're trying to have your zones capture that zigzag pattern. For example, here we had a breakthrough, which probably fooled people that it was going to continue going down. But again, it came up and then retested this area, and boom, it went back to this level. So that's the level that that's the reason we are marking this area. You might want to mark this area also as a minor support area, considering that it was tested somewhere here. So it kind of like a middle point, like a middle point when you're on a journey and you just decide to take a breath. And but I prefer the outer zones that capture the bigger moves. Those That's what I usually prefer. So This is not exact. Don't crucify me. Don't go into the comment section and start crucifying me. I'm trying to just show you an idea of how that I trade. So this is on the monthly, and I've marked my zones like so, just to give me an idea of what's happening. What's happening now? I can either drop down to the weekly. I can either drop down to the weekly and just gauge what's probably happening there. If you see, so we have these candles are actually weeks because we are on a weekly time frame now. So this is actually 5 days of trading, 5 days of trading, 5 days of trading. So you can see for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. That's more than a month. We could not break this zone, this area, whatever you call it. I've given up on all these fancy terms that people try to throw around, which basically do not make any sense. But anyway, if it works, if it works. So then that gives confidence that we are not going to break this zone. And certainly then you start looking for clues for entries to be selling. So you can see here USDs are after reaching this zone that was in November last year, November 2020, it could not go further. So it started what? Going down. So we are now here at a sort of middle playground. We are now at a middle playground where I am actually expecting us to continue going down this way. It's not a signal. Don't start selling USDs and just jump in blindly and start selling USDs saying that I said I am biased on selling. My bias from here is going to be selling. Why? Because I can also see this trend line that's coming through here. That's coming through here, which probably, if it pans out, could take me this area so that we can touch this one, or we can actually touch this one. There's this one. I hope you can see it on the video. Let me zoom in some more. Let me try to zoom in some more. This is why people use TradingView and not use MT4. I should do that as well. Maybe in my next videos I need to switch over to TradingView so that I can better demonstrate this. But I hope you can see it. Let me move this out of the way a bit. So what I'm saying is my bias is actually on USDs are continuing to come down to touch either this trend line. You can see this trend line on the weekly, this trend line, or this one. But first stop, we might be coming to this trend line, and lo and behold, it's in the way of our previous zone. So we have got kind of a confluence there. We have a trend line that's going up here, and we have a trend line that's going down there, and we happen to have a zone here. We happen to have a zone for trading here. So there's a chance that we use this one. No, it's too thick. Let me delete this one. Let me use this one. So there is a chance that we might be coming to this zone. It's not going to happen today, tomorrow, in the next few hours. Sometimes people think when you say this might happen, then it happens. That and there, boom, it happens. No, It might take its time to play out, but eventually this is on the higher time frames. This is where it's probably going. I'm just trying to show you the ease of the strategy that I use. Or if something happens, with the SA economy or the US dollar gains more strength, then certainly we will then expect a bounce back to there. Certainly expect a bounce back to this zone. This is on higher time frames. This is on what? On higher time frames. Then we drop down to the daily. Wow, look at my arrows now on the daily time frame. They look like they were made by kids in kindergarten. Now my arrows look like they were made by a drunk person. But anyway, you get an idea. You get an idea. Let me try to do this. You get an idea. So if we drop down to the daily, you can again see my tool, the tool that I told you about that visualizes for me the trends, like trend lines. Trend lines. It automatically plots trend lines. If we drop down to the daily, you can see we have this channel. So yeah, correction, it plots channels. So we have this channel that has been going on here. So when USDZAR came into this zone and dropped, obviously you don't try to take this first drop because you want confirmation. So you don't jump in on the first drop. What if it's a scam and they really want to go up here but just want to trap people this side? So what you first do is to wait for a retest, which came in and was confirmed here. We again here we have what? In this area we have our zone and we have our channel forming there. So a good sign, a good sign. But the trade that I would have made is that one. I sometimes trade USDs, sometimes I don't because I hate the spread. I hate the spread. Mostly I try to trade pairs with very low spreads. I hate the spreads on these exotic pairs. But it doesn't mean you cannot make money with them. You can make lots of money with them. But that's the trade that I would have taken because the channel would have formed, would have been confirmed. And certainly my target will be the middle zone. This is on the daily, the middle zone. And easily a person who sold here could have made that's some 826 pips currently. If you hold all the way, to this area, if you hold all the way to this area where I think it might be going, it's 1,506 pips. 1,506 pips. This is how much you could have made on USDZAR. Of course, because it's exotic pairs, you have like these massive pips, but easily, just by trading higher time frames and simplifying your things, you'd have made more than 1,500 pips. If this pans out, you stand to make, because I am hoping that here we might see some reversal into this area just to test this outer trend line for this channel. We might smash into here just to test it again. I don't know if it's going to happen this week. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen next month, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying tomorrow it's going to happen, but we might test this area before continuing to drop. So don't just randomly jump in and you start selling. You might be taken out by drawdown. You might be taken out by drawdown, or actually something might happen and that pushes USD ZAR back this way. So it's a crucial, it's a zone here. What we want to do is want to make sure that these guys, they pop out of this side. Again, this is not like accurate to the dot zone like military precision, but you get the point. What we want is these guys to pop out this side, probably popping back, just test this area and fail to go back, and then we know we got them. They are going this way. Then you go in and you sell again. If we come out of that zone going this way, we are looking at some roughly around 700 pips, depending on where you enter. Easily. So because this is daily time frame, it's not for people who like to get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out of their trades. You can actually play this for a whole month or for 2 months, or it's for people who like to play the long-term game. For people who like smaller time frames, unfortunately I cannot go to those minuscule time frames. So okay, here on the 4 hourly, you can actually see that we might have tested the outer trend line that I was talking about. We might have tested it. So what might happen here is actually we are continuing going down, but again it's not gospel. I need to see how I can get a bigger screen so that I don't have to constantly zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. So we might have tested this outer zone of the channel. Let me mark it. There is this line, so that when you go through smaller time frames, there is this line, there is this line. These two that I use that marks these trend lines and doesn't shift them when you go to smaller time frames. That's why I like it. But I'm just marking it so that we are on the same page. That's on the daily. Now we go to the 4 hourly. You see what I'm talking about. We might have actually tested it. This outer channel, the outer boundary of this channel, we might actually have tested it here. So we might actually be continuing this way. But the market is the market. Sometimes you can have your A grade analysis. You might have your A grade analysis, everything looking like you went to Harvard, and still the market does what it wants, because the market does what it wants, and I'm not going to control the market with my $1,000 account. The market does what it wants. So we'll retest it there. We might retest it again. We might continue bouncing in this area for some time. Who knows? Before we actually decide to continue going down, or before we actually decide to continue going back up, depending on what happens on the US dollar. Depending on what happens on the US dollar, is mostly US dollar because it's USD ZAR. And depending on what happens also on the South African economy, which was last year affected by, like any other economy in the world, was affected by this COVID, but also the discovery of what they called Omicron, whatever, Omicron virus. Omicron, not virus, it's a, well, still virus, but it's Omicron is like a version of COVID. So yeah, so I've tried to exactly show you how I basically trade and do my analysis. Uh, Back in the day, you would probably have seen me having MACDs here, stochastics, uh, all the other stuff. For some time, they did work. For some time, they did work. I will not lie. For some time, those things would work. Uh, at some point, I decided this is just too much. This is just too much. I need to simplify my life. I need to simplify my life. Uh, so yeah, this will be what I'll be looking at concerning USD. Sir, I already said I don't usually trade it like on a daily basis because I hate the spread. Exotic pairs can make you money, but the spread is just a put off, especially if there are major events or major news that are coming out. You can easily get your stop loss hit, even when you have got the trade or the direction correctly predicted or forecast. You can still get stopped out because the spread is high. So yeah, so this is basically how I now trade. This is basically how now. You don't exactly need this channel indicator thing that I have there. If you need it, well, probably I can put it on the blog, or I can link you to the website where I got it. Then you can just download it and test it for yourself. But you might actually not need it. It's this one. It's called Auto Trend Lines Channels Indicator. You can Google it. You can Google it and download it. Auto Trend Lines Channels Indicator. Then color levels, login piece, whatever, is this tool. Then I've got, of course, my candle timer, which is this. Then my symbol changer, which is that. That's basically all the things that I'm using on my charts nowadays. Okay, like this video if you found it helpful. If you did not find it helpful, still like the video. Come on. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. This is basically what I think is the simplest way to trade the markets. This is what I think to be the simplest way to be trading the markets. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Until next time, bye.